Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everything Iconic with me, Danny Pellegrino. I'm freaking out a little bit because I have Jennie Garth here at my house, which is blowing my mind right now because I was the biggest 90210 fan.
You were?
I loved What I Like About You. And so, yeah, I've been a fan of your work forever. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad to meet you.
Me too.
I'm going to move in.
You should move in. I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. I have to tell you, I remember watching, this was, your show, 90210, was sort of like family night in my house. Like, I watched it with my mom as a young kid and my two older brothers. We would all sit around, and we were kids, but for some reason, and I talked to a lot of friends who weren't allowed to watch 90210. I was just talking to someone, and she was telling me her mom didn't let her watch 90210. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It was family night for us.
That's interesting. How old were you?
I was born in 85, so...
Oh, I don't do math.
Yeah,
sorry.
How dare you ask me how old I am, Jennie Garth?
It doesn't matter. You can tell me what year you were born, and I still won't figure it out. That's the thing.
But yeah, we all would gather, and it was the craziest show. And your character in particular, like, went through it.
Oh my God!
Went through so many things.
They tortured me.
And I know you have, of course, your podcast with Tori where you talk about the show. But I wrote down some of the things that Kelly has been through. My personal favorite was the Tara storyline. But Kelly Taylor went through diet pills, was burned in a fire, cocaine habit. Of course, Tara, she joined a cult.
That was good. The cult.
This list is crazy. A miscarriage, endometriosis, harassed by boss. We're not laughing at the things, the traumatic events.
These things are awful.
Of course. She was shot, amnesia.
She was shot. Who wrote that?
Jenny, there's like where I found this whole list was on Reddit where people were like voting, and it was like cast your vote for like your favorite trauma storyline of Kelly Taylor, and I was just like, oh my God, I forgot a lot. I don't know what was in the lead.
Oh man,
I voted for the Tara storyline.
I'm gonna go with the getting shot in the parking lot.
I mean, mom's addiction. There was an AIDS scare. David, did David see you naked, or you saw David naked? That was
I think David saw me naked.
A lot of traumatic events.
Yeah, that one probably the most traumatic.
Right. Was there one that was most fun to play, or that you were kind of most excited about?
I honestly, what comes to my mind is the Coke storyline when she was addicted to cocaine, because I've never done cocaine, so I got to pretend like I was a cokehead for a while, and that was kind of fun.
Right. Yeah. And that was probably like second half of the show, which I feel like that was when I was really like locked in.
That was, Coke comes in season 6. Because I'm in it. We're in it now on OMG, and we're watching it, and the guy that gets Kelly into the Coke habit is just been introduced.
As you're rewatching, is there a lot of stuff that you're like, I totally forgot I did that?
Everything. I forgot all of it.
Yeah,
I think I have PTSD times a million.
Yeah.
So I don't remember anything.
How do you feel about, because it's got such a huge fan base. I mean, people, those of us who loved it, like we loved it. We're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Does it surprise you that it has this sort of lasting thing after so many years? Like, we still feel so passionately about the show.
It's wild. And I don't know that there's another show that's quite like the fan base that 90210 had, the original show. They're so committed. And I think that the reason is because it came in 1990 when there was no internet. There was no smartphone. There was nobody knew really what Beverly Hills looked like unless you had seen Beverly Hills Cop or something. And so people were so intrigued by it to begin with. And then they started to get really sucked into these characters, just as I have now watching it for the first time. Like, I am a super fan myself when I had never even watched the show before.
Yeah.
So I get it. I fully get why people love it so much, because I too love it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the relatability of the characters, and also just getting to grow up with them through like super formative years for them, or for us as actors, for the characters, and for the fans watching.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I think they're finding with these streaming services now is so many people are going back to these shows that had these long runs. Mm-hmm. And I think there is such a benefit to being with characters for so long. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you did 10 seasons.
10 seasons,
yeah.
Right.
And yeah, it's nice to be able to grow with the people, and even through the crazy shit that you go through, it's like, I don't know, it's exciting to be able to sit with a character. I even still watch Grey's Anatomy, which has been on, I think, 20 seasons or something like that. I dip in and out, but
it's nice to go and binge, like pick a show that's been on for a long time, so you know you have a good run on your couch.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, you got all that time in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so your new podcast, it sort of ties back to 90210. It's I Choose Me, which is, of course, that infamous scene where you're choosing between Dylan and Brandon.
Right.
Both so hot.
Oh.
I mean, that was, as a young closeted gay kid, too, I was so attracted to all the men on that show.
Who was your favorite?
Oh, I loved the guy at the end that you dated with the brownish hair. What's his name?
Matt Durning, attorney at law?
Yes, loved him. Big crush.
Big smile. He was really cute.
Yeah. I just saw him recently. He's like a silver fox now, too.
Is he?
Yeah.
I love him.
I think he was, and I was more of a Brandon kid.
Were you? I really did not expect you to say that.
Yeah.
No, I thought you would have been a Dylan.
No, I mean, both of them I would have definitely gone home with. Okay, so there were a lot of hot men on that show.
No shame.
I feel like there were a lot of hot guest stars too. Who was the most attractive guest star? Like, who was the physically like the most attractive person you saw there?
There was one guy, he played Donna's boyfriend for a while. And I think his name was Greg something. No, I could be completely wrong. Yeah. But anyways, he was like a cowboy in real life. And I kind of liked that. But I think I was probably married or had a baby or something. So I only got to look.
I was just going to say, were you able to like kind of date the guest stars a little bit?
No, never. I was always in a relationship.
Okay, I got off track. Your podcast is I Choose Me, which is the infamous line from 90210. And it was really interesting to me. I was listening to that podcast, and you said you were saying that so much. And I imagine fans come up to you all the time and want to talk about that scene or that line or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it really kind of, it gave me chills when you said that you started to realize you were saying that so much that you had the kind of aha moment that maybe you were put here to deliver that message.
Isn't it weird?
When did you can you share when you had that kind of realization?
Well, it's interesting. As an actor, you do a lot of waiting around and hoping that, a great role will come, and you don't have any control over your future, really. And I was getting really tired of that. And, I turned 50, and I just was like, I want to ensure that I'm leaving something behind for my daughters. And I didn't feel like I was doing that with the state of things in my career. So I started to do some signings and meet a lot of fans. And a lot of the women would come to me and say, oh my gosh, that famous line, I Choose Me, really had such an impact on me. And I'd be like, oh, that's so great. I love that line too. And it kept happening. And then, so I was hearing it, and then I started reading it, on my social. People would comment about it. And it just started to become part of my like day-to-day vocabulary. And then as I'm like going about my business in my house, I'm thinking, oh, look, I chose myself by, choosing this healthy food instead of this junk food, or like just little things like, oh, I'm taking a bath right now. I'm choosing myself. So it started to sort of like seep into my everything. And then it just dawned on me, like, this is what I'm here for, because we all kind of, we reach that point where we're like, what is my purpose? Why am I doing what I do? Is it having any effect? Do I feel good about the impact that I'm making?
And you felt this way even after your success in the industry.
Yeah, I did. I really did. And I just felt like I was here to do more. And I think it's because of the way I was probably raised. My parents are both educators. And
you're from the Midwest.
I'm from the Midwest.
I love the Midwest. Gal.
Oh my gosh. So I just felt like I was here to do something that had an even deeper impact on people. And I knew how much I needed that message to choose, to remember to choose myself, and sometimes take better care of myself.
Yeah.
And so I just realized this is the message that I'm supposed to spread, and how incredibly ironic and fate that it all ties back into my past. So I sort of decided, I'm going to embrace my past in order to move forward. And the moment I made that decision, everything in my stalled sort of life started moving forward, and things just started to falling into place one after another. Wow. And that's the crazy thing. Like, you feel so stuck for so long, and then one thing will shift and you're off to the races. And that's what happened for me.
And what's the response been like as you've been releasing these podcast episodes, because you are getting really personal in these? What's the response been like as you've heard from people?
The response that I've read and seen has been really positive, and people are happy to kind of be going on this journey with me and learning more about me and learning more about themselves through my stories or experiences. And I think it's just, another way to relate and connect. And they're loving it, and people are it's starting to happen for them too. Like it's starting to sort of integrate into their everyday lives too, which is perfect. And, I did the podcast hoping it would help people. And I swear to God, the first thing that I read that someone was like, oh my gosh, I love your podcast. It's really helping me. I started crying and I thought, okay, that's it. That's all I needed was that one person to say that it helped them, that feeling.
Well, the episodes I listened to, I didn't get to listen to all of them, but I listened to a lot of them, and they were, I don't know if not what I was expecting is the right term for it, but it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I found it enlightening a little bit, and I found it just so intelligent, and also your voice is like ASMR, which I don't know if people have told you that, but it's like you have the soothiest voice.
I do? Oh, yes, good. Yes. I'm so glad.
And maybe it's the Midwest.
Isn't
the
it
hard
something?
A,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you wonder about when you do a podcast. Do people like my voice?
I know.
I hope so. Yeah. My husband likes it, so I was like, oh, okay.
I've been doing this a while, and sometimes people reach out and like, I like his show, but I hate his voice or something like that. It's like, okay, well, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
What do you want me to do?
Change the channel. You can't.
Right.
That's not an expression. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
There you go. Bye-bye.
But not this one. Okay. So, but you get really personal in it. You've had your husband on there, and are you nervous about like opening up about personal stuff?
At first, yeah, I was a little. And honestly, I've been such a private person, like verging on recluse, kind of like chose to really be private.
Why do you think that?
Because I was so famous at such a young age, like that was really hard for me. Coming from the Midwest, a very normal upbringing, not knowing anything about Hollywood or fame or anything. And then that just shifted. And I was expected to be, a celebrity, a famous person, and be okay living in the spotlight. But I've never been comfortable living in the spotlight. Yeah. I like to just kind of be one of the people, And so I think for me, the thought of sharing, I slowly started doing it through my social and really feeling like, I'm connecting with people I don't even know out there on a different level, because when I connected with them when they were watching the shows that I did, there was no reciprocation, And now when I post and I comment and I read, and I'm connecting with them, and I honestly feel like I have a community of support. And it's because of that feeling of support and connection and love that I felt from them that keeps me wanting to share with them, because it makes me feel better. To make them feel better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like a domino effect, really. Mm-hmm. Okay, wait, take me back a little bit to that. I'm just kind of having this realization of like, we see from the outside, we're like, oh my God, we all love Kelly Taylor. We love, she's the most beautiful woman in the world, and you're on magazine covers and everything. And so we see that perspective, but I mean, that must have been a quick thrust into that. So when the thrust into that fame happens, did your ground feel unsteady? Or does that make sense? Or how did you feel?
I felt like the rug was pulled out from under me, definitely. I didn't know how to handle that at all. I didn't know. There was no manual for how to do that. And it happened so fast.
And I imagine that snowballs too. It's like, how do you slow down the train from moving?
Yeah. For me, that was just staying
so
home.
Huge.
It was so big, and across the world, like, I would go on trips to promote the show to Israel and Spain and Tokyo. Like anywhere I went, I was famous, and I could not wrap my head around that. And so I just kind of, learned to stay at home, and I learned to be very private and keep my life private and tight so that I could feel comfortable and I could feel safe.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that was the right decision, looking back? Yeah.
I mean, also during that time, I was, I had 3 babies, very young. I was 23, I think, when I first got pregnant. And so I was extremely protective of what they were exposed to. And I didn't want them to have like a typical, celebrity, famous upbringing. I wanted them to have what I had in the Midwest. And so I got a farm out of town, and we would go there at every opportunity. And that's where I spent all of my free time, was just running around playing with my kids.
I love that. Okay, so getting back to your husband who's been on the podcast, now you're talking about your relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
You even talked about dating after your last divorce, and you said you were lost right after, and you kind of had to find yourself. And we talked a little bit about that shift, but what advice would you have for that person who was going through that and maybe feeling a little lost, or if somebody's going through that now?
Oh my God, I get a little anxiety just even hearing you ask me this question, because it's such a hard time, especially when you're in a long-term marriage.
I've had anxiety since you got here, Jennie Garth, because I'm such a huge fan.
You want to do some breathing?
That to like make myself calm down a little bit, because
exercise.
I need a little. I'm like, oh my God, Kelly Taylor's in my house. I'm sorry to call you Kelly Taylor. I'm sorry. Okay, we love you. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. Cut that out. I needed to get that out.
Yeah, no, you feel better?
You must get a lot of crazy fans, like. I didn't cry or anything.
I don't think I fully comprehend the level of what they're dealing with in their mind, because for me it's just me and you, and I just met you and you just met me, you know?
Yeah.
But I get it.
Okay, but wait, is there anyone that you would freak out by?
Honestly, no. Okay. I mean, I love talent. I think people are amazing. Like I was always a Madonna fan growing up. Like I was a Material Girl. Like
you must have met Madonna.
I have never met Madonna that I remember, which is, I don't have a great memory, but I think I would remember Madonna. So no, I don't really freak out about people just because I don't buy into the whole thing. It doesn't.
I do.
No shade. I think it's amazing.
Okay, what were we talking about? I got off track. Okay, so what advice for a newly divorced person?
Anxiety, because it's such a big I can the only advice I can give you is what how I handled it. I grieved. Like I mourned it. I grieved. I went to rock bottom, and I had very 1, 2, 3 people that really picked me up and kept me moving forward. I went, as dark as you can imagine, because I didn't see it coming. And I'm from the Midwest, and I wanted to stay married, and I wanted to keep my family intact. That was the only thing that mattered to me. And when change happens and you're not expecting it, you're just not equipped to handle it. So I had to get equipped really quickly. And so my advice would be to people that are dealing with that is to allow yourself to really mourn it and grieve it properly, because it is a loss. It's just a different kind of, it's not death, but it is a death of a relationship, and that's huge. And to, also really rely on your true support team that you have around you. And if you don't have one, find one. There are, you go to therapy, do whatever you have to do to not feel alone in the process.
I always struggle with, I see a therapist too regularly, but sometimes I try to remind myself, like if I'm unloading a little too much on friends, it's like maybe I need to book that appointment with the therapist. But I always struggle with that in my head. Like, am I unloading too much on friends?
My husband once told me when I was telling him something, he's like, wait, you need to save that for your therapist. Yeah. Thank God he told me. I would have just been like, blah, blah, blah.
My poor boyfriend has to deal with all my emotional outbursts. We talk a lot about TV and reality TV specifically. Do you ever watch any reality TV?
I do. I never really used to, but I do now.
What do you watch?
The Bachelor. I know that's not very exciting. That's not. I don't watch The Real Housewives.
You don't watch The Housewives or anything. But have they ever asked you to be on?
Quite a number of times, yes.
And so what's the holdup? Why can't we get you on there?
I'm not cut from that cloth. Let's say I'm not interested.
Not for you.
No.
I don't think I could do reality TV in that way either. I mean, it's I cover it on the show, but because the Bravo universe is such a specific type of reality TV too.
It doesn't feel real. Like there's it's reality. Like for me, there's no real there.
And it does feel, I mean, I love it, but there's an expectation for fireworks and drama and stuff like that. And that would be where I would sort of lose it.
Oh yeah.
I just would want to go in the confessional and like talk shit, but not in the
not have any ramifications from it. Yeah.
But my dream is that you and Tori would both be going on together, which that needs to happen.
Yeah.
But have you guys ever thought of doing like a reality show together?
Yeah, we've talked about it. We've worked together a number of times and created BH 90210 together.
Why didn't that go on more?
Oh gosh. Fox really saw it as a 6-episode limited series. I think that they had, that in mind when they went, and it was a really expensive show for them. and it probably wasn't the easiest show to produce from their perspective. So there are a number of reasons why it didn't go longer than 6 episodes.
Well, speaking for myself, I really wanted more.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
And I felt like it was just so gelling by the. I'm like, I wanted to see the sort of like scripted 90210 scenes that that you guys, it seems like you were going to do. Can you spill anything of like what that kind of plan might have been?
We were just going to go into, shooting the reboot with the actual characters, and then also seeing the real actors' lives and how it all mixed together, which it would have been really fascinating and fun to watch.
What about in the okay, this is going to be like such an inside baseball question. Sorry if this is, apologies. But okay, so do you have any idea of what the Kelly Taylor character might have been doing in those scenes?
Gosh, I would have to say she would be entwined with Brandon somehow, only because we kind of, played with the Jenny Jason dynamic there. So I feel like that would probably have crossed over.
Yeah. Well, it was so nice to see all of you together.
It was fun.
Now, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. You mentioned your parents are teachers. So how do you get involved in this industry? Can you talk us through that a little bit?
Sheer fate, luck, I don't know. I was at the right place at the right time. I was in a pageant, and I thought I was going to win a scholarship to college for my dancing abilities. Turns out I didn't win, but I did get discovered at that pageant. And the man that was standing in for a friend of his as a judge asked me if I ever wanted to act, and I said maybe. And then here I am, and he's still my manager to this day. And so that's how that all happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
And looking back on that young woman, what would you tell her now? If you could talk to her. Pre-industry Jennie Garth.
I would tell her...
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Suck it up, buckle up, do all the things, because it's about to get crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And I also would tell her, remember who you are, remember where you come from.
Right. I would be remiss if I don't ask you about my favorite storyline, the Tara storyline. This was right post-cocaine habit for Kelly Taylor.
Okay, so this is 7? Probably season 7 or 8?
Probably around there. Yeah, It was when...
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what happens.
She tried to steal your identity. Oh my God, it's my favorite storyline.
Wait, is she the one that gets her hair cut like Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, I
and
like that one.
You and Donna are in the apartment or in the beach house, and she comes in, she's like, look, I got a little pizzazz. And then you turn around on the couch and you see she's got the same haircut. She's wearing a similar looking top, but she's got the same looking blouse on.
Oh my God, can you imagine this happening in real life?
Oh my God. And Donna's like, she wants to be you. And it's, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Do you remember anything about that storyline specifically?
I can remember there was a scene on a cliff. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like where in the convertible?
I can tell you exactly what it is. So you're passed out like this.
Wait, why am I passed out?
You're in the car on the cliff because there's like a still. I probably have it on my phone. There's a still from the episode that's like on the internet. It's so funny. But you're like passed out on the side of the window. Like yeah. We can recreate it. I'll go get a blonde wig and my thing. But and then she's behind you, like sort of lurking with the same kind of cut hair.
Pixie do. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And she's just sort of looking at you. And I think it's before she locks you in the garage with the car on. Didn't she do that? Yeah, I think she did that.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to watch this episode.
Oh my God, it's so good. I think it's like a full arc.
Do you see why I don't remember?
Yeah.
I was drugged, apparently. And,
Do you remember the haircut?
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell me about that haircut.
Wait, you didn't like that haircut? I'm getting it. I'm feeling that you hated that pixie haircut.
Jenny, that haircut was a little crazy. Everyone wanted it. All the gals wanted it.
I liked it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I mean, it looked way better than Tara's wig. Yeah. They gave Tara that wig, and I was like,
that's a hard wig to wear.
What were they doing? Yeah.
Yeah, and back then the wigs weren't very advanced.
My favorite thing about this, the scene I told you about too, is the Tori, the Donna character. She's like, oh, she wants to be you. But meanwhile, it's like Donna has this pretty similar cut and color to you, too. And I was like, okay.
Oh, and here's the thing. Tori will throw me so much shit about that haircut. And she's always like, I hated you when you had that haircut. You look like a mom, a soccer mom. And I'm saying, now that I'm watching, I'm like, hello, you had the same haircut, basically.
Yeah. Tori had some really rough cuts in that show, too. Like, I swear, I remember even as a young child, like a young gay boy closeted, just being like, what is that cut on Tori Spelling? Like, what are they doing with her hair? Yeah, she had the weirdest cuts, I thought.
We tried to take some chances. Yeah.
Last year, there was a photo because there was like an iHeart podcast thing, and there was a photo. It was like an Avengers of podcasters. It was like, I don't know, Larsa Pippen was there, and Bethany Frankel was there. I think she had hosted this luncheon, and Tiffany Amber Thiessen was there. And as someone who watched it, I was so excited to see the two of you together. I don't know, what can you tell me about that luncheon, or is there anything you can say about that?
Well, that was thrown by Bethany. And I don't remember why, but my producer, Amy, said you should come, and I did. Brought my middle daughter, so we had a really nice dinner. It was actually a dinner at a fancy Beverly Hills place. And I was surprised to see her there, too. And I just, of course, went over and said hello, and look how big Lola is, Like, we had a moment of catching up. It was nice.
I love that.
And that was it. We were kind of seated at opposite ends of the table, so I didn't talk to her much more than that.
Did you get to talk to any of the housewives?
Oh my God. This is the worst thing I'm about to say. I wouldn't know a
I'm
housewife.
so excited isn't it terrible that you said this is the worst thing I'm about to say? And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited.
I wouldn't know a housewife if she walked in your door right now. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Unless it's Bethany. She was a housewife, right? Or
how is she?
She's nice. She's great. Very, supportive and encouraging.
Okay, I normally do like an IMDb, like a couple. Did I give a weird look to the camera?
You did.
Yeah.
Why?
People can read into that how they want. I like to ask.
Yeah,
what?
it's okay.
I like to ask about a random credit on an IMDb, and I saw one of your first credits is Growing Pains. What do you remember about that?
Did you like that show?
I liked Growing Pains. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, I think I had a crush on. I mean, I no longer do.
No.
But I had a crush on Kirk
Cameron, yeah. No.
And Alan Thicke.
Oh my God, really?
Maybe a little, yeah.
You shouldn't admit that. I that was one of my first shows, and I remember it was shooting at night, and Randy, my manager, was there, and that was the first time he heard me complain about like, oh, it's so cold. Why are they making me sit out here in the dark? And we laugh about that now. But my only line on that show was sticky, sticky, sticky. That's all I had to say. And I was like the girl in the back seat. That was the extent of my,
Oh my God, I love it. I have to also ask about what I like about you. I loved it. I'm friends with Leslie Grossman. I was telling you earlier, I was texting with her last night, and she said you guys just had so much fun on that show. And I was telling you that kind of show doesn't really exist so much anymore.
No.
It feels like we're kind of missing that kind of joyous, silly lights.
Punchline.
Yeah.
And that show, what I like about you, had such a great heart. And I think that the heart came from the relationship that Amanda and I had. We just loved each other, and we're born on the same day, very, and kind of like sisters. And that's what we were on the show.
You had such great chemistry. Did you have to do a bunch of chemistry tests together, or did it just sort of happen accidentally?
No, they were doing this show, and they were looking for her sister. And then I went in and met her, and we loved each other instantly. And I'm like, oh my God, we had the same birthday. And we just hit it off really genuinely. And that was that. I could have gotten fired that first week if it didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because they didn't do a chemistry read. But I made it,
It was so fun. Amanda and I are like the same age. And I remember reading my local paper, and I've told the story a million times, but she had gotten on all that. And I was like, oh my God, she's on this sketch comedy show. And I just thought she was the funniest, most brilliant. And I mean, still, she's just so talented. And I just rewatched She's the Man. And I'm like, God,
I love that
she's
movie.
So good in that. And Channing Tatum's so hot in that.
Anyway, we watched that a lot in our house.
Could there ever be like a reboot of that show?
I would love nothing more, and I've talked about it, and it just, if it's in the cards, it'll happen. You can't force that kind of thing. Right. Leslie and I have talked about it. We would love to get back together. I want to see
Leslie just doing hard comedy again.
Oh my God, she was so fun to work with, and just a comedy genius. I loved working with Leslie.
Yeah. What about in the 90210 universe? Is there a chance that we could see the characters again?
Oh my goodness. People really want this, and I
don't.
Do you
get tired of this question? Is this annoying?
I do. But every year, not just me, but the whole cast, we're all getting older. Every year, older.
You're all hot
At
still.
some point, it's going to be like us with walkers in
I'll watch it.
A rocking chair. But we would do it. I think that if it were to come, we would do it only because how could we not?
Yeah.
It's what the people want. And we all love the show so much, and we're all still so connected.
It just seems like why wouldn't a network, if there's such a huge built-in audience for it, it's like, we need it. Same with what I like about you, though. I feel the same way. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you remember about that weird reboot in the middle? You know what I mean?
With the CW
it was just
one.
I watched it. Yeah.
My character was on it.
Yeah, you were on it like first couple of seasons.
Yes, because a friend of mine was producing it. Oh, well, a friend of a friend was producing it, and he came to my house. I'll never forget. He sat in my living room and basically begged me to do it. And I felt like, okay, I don't really want to, but I'm going to do this.
You got bamboozled.
I did it, and it wasn't, the crew was great, and the young cast, I didn't know any of them. They were all very nice, and it was whatever. I think that it had an audience of young. I was not a person that enjoyed watching that show, only because I felt like it was almost sacrilegious what was happening. Like the things that they were doing,
the same way.
The things that were happening on that show, the things that they were writing, just felt so not in line with the heart of the original show that it ended up bothering me. And so, I was only on I don't even know how many, but.
Well, I felt the same way because I tuned in for all of you. Like I had read you're joining the show, and then I think Shannon had guest star.
I made Tori do it, and I made Shannon do it.
Yeah,
please.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to see these characters again. And it was great to see the characters again, but it was a hard shift because then it was like about some of these other people. I'm like, no, go back to Kelly, go back to Donna. I want to see them.
I think that was a blip in time.
Yeah.
And I think that the people that did that show had a great time. Those actors went on to do a lot of work. So,
90210, I was reading this thing about how characters and stuff, if they outlast, I think it was like 20 years, that's going to be a franchise or something that will live on forever. So they said like a book character or superhero characters or something, if they last. And I'm just thinking now, like 90210, I think is going to be a thing that'll last forever. Like, there'll always probably be some sort of public consciousness of 90210, and it'll maybe be rebooted in different ways and stuff. But that must be weird to originate something that will probably stand around forever.
I mean, it's so cool.
That's kind of cool, right?
It's really cool. I hope that it does. I'm really proud of that show.
Okay, there's so many a lot of you are doing podcasts now. There's like a whole ecosystem, and I'm tuning in. I'm like, oh, Brian Austin Green's on Shannon Doherty's podcast, or you and Tori together. And I'm wondering, are you listening to any of the others? And is there anything that you've maybe heard on some of the others that you're like, I want to clear that up?
I have listened to bits that have been sent to me. And I've listened to the first episodes to like support them, and I think everybody's doing a great job. And everybody's podcast is different, which is cool. I
love getting little tidbits from all of them.
Yeah, yeah. You never know what you're going to hear.
It must be weird though, because fans of the show kind of latch on to these little things because we're still so invested in it. And you're like, that happened for like so many years ago,
right? But also, like the public will continue to pit Kelly and Brenda against one another for the rest of our lives.
Right.
So Shannon and I have had to learn to accept that and just sort of be humored by it and, not let it get to us, because that can turn. Yeah. It's not good for a relationship.
In a sick kind of way that probably bonds the two of you in a way that no one else will ever be able to kind of understand.
We're definitely going to be very closely related forever.
Yeah.
In that respect.
Yeah. Okay. I want to let you go. But before I do, I ask all of my guests their favorite Mariah Carey song.
Oh my God.
And if you were choosing for People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, you can't choose your husband, who's also very sexy, but it doesn't have to necessarily be someone who's alive, even though that's what it's called. But, just the sexiest man to you.
This is so hard. Okay. Mariah Carey song. Is there All I Want for is there a Christmas song?
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, I like her Christmas music. Yeah. That's all I got for. I'm not. Yeah.
No, fine.
Sorry. And Sexiest Man Alive.
Don't apologize for that. That's the greatest song of all time.
Okay, good. Sexiest Man Alive. Oh, my husband knows this. What's his name? Oh, the guy. He's got a movie out right now. Help me.
Ryan Reynolds.
I like him too. But no. This is a weird one. He was in the DiCaprio movie where the bear attacked him.
Oh, Paul Giamatti.
Nope. Okay. Wow. What you think of me right now.
I had to get that. I'm sorry.
Hold on. No. His name, he's an actor. It's not Daniel Craig, but it's somebody that looks like Daniel Craig. Oh,
is he like
he's not going to like to hear that.
Okay.
Either. Hold on. He was in the Bear movie with the
Jeremy Allen White, not the Bear TV show.
No.
He was in the Bear movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, you
yes.
said?
What's that movie where it attacks him?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Revenant.
The
The
Revenant.
Revenant.
And it's one of our
Very dark
team
movie.
over here. I'll look it up.
Hold on. What's his name? Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is the sexiest man. Oh my God, yes.
There's something so dirty and wrong about him.
Yeah, he's naked a lot on screen too. What is he? He did that movie with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's so good. This
with
Means
him
War.
And the other
Chris
This
Pine.
Means War.
They're like all so
That
hot.
movie.
Jennie Garth. Where is he? What's your favorite rom-com? Do you like
The
rom-com?
Proposal.
So good. You've Got Mail.
Ah.
Yeah, love it. Jennie Garth, I love you. Anything else you want to tell anyone about your podcast or promote or anything?
No, just listen to the podcast. It's fun.
I Choose Me, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. This is a dream come true. I can't believe you're at my house. And I am sorry for recreating that terrace scene earlier.
I loved it.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to ACAST, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.